everyone, Magpie Gaming here, bringing you a Wild West Online video. Now it's been a while since I did a video regarding this game, and the main reason for that was that there wasn't much news out there to really get your teeth around. So we had the gameplay reveal trailer, I think it was just the first week of July, and then it just went quiet after that. There was no new news came out or anything like that. Everybody that had pre-ordered expected the alpha to be released sometime around the end of July. There was nothing came out, there was no correspondence from 612 Games, so we're just sat waiting for those of us that pre-ordered. And they've invited a couple of online publications, PC Gamer and IGN are the ones that I know about, to go and play a pre-alpha build of the game. Now you can see the footage of the PC Gamer one in the background now, and I've got to say that the game does look quite good. The graphics look pretty good, there's no textures popping in or anything like that. The draw distance looks really good. So despite all of the bad blood around the engine and this Sergei Titov, who is or may not be tied into the development of this game, it does look pretty good. Okay, it's a pre-alpha build, so there are some things missing, there are some assets that aren't drawn in, and character animations don't look too great, but for a pre-alpha build, it's looking okay. And the guy in the video, what I'll do is when I've finished talking, I'll restart the video so that you can watch that if you want to. I'll also try and find the IGN video and link that down below. I haven't watched that one yet. But this guy says that it's basically too early to give much of an opinion on this game because this is pre-alpha and you can only go on what you see in front of you. And what's in front of you obviously isn't great, it's not finished, there are things that aren't working, but it seems okay. I mean, I don't know, I'm still on the fence about it. Yes, I have pre-ordered it, so I will be playing the alpha at some point when it comes out, and if I get my fingers burnt by this, then so be it. I went on to the YouTube channel of where the PC Gamer video is hosted, and the video had more dislikes than it did likes, and all of the comments were basically telling you to stay away from it, don't touch it, because it was from the developers of War Z and Big Rigs and things like that. You should just stay away from it. But 612 Games have vehemently denied that they have anything to do with this Sergei Titov. Now, he did own the rights to the Nightshade engine, but from what I've read online recently, he has sold the engine on and it's nothing to do with him now. So I don't know, we'll just have to see where development goes and where it ends up. So still waiting for the alpha. The only thing that I will say bad about them is that for those of us that have pre-ordered, for those of us that have put money into this project, it would be nice to have some sort of correspondence from the devs, maybe weekly or at least once a month, just to give us an update on where things are going. That I don't think would be too much of a task for them to carry out, just a quick email saying this is what we've been working on, we're looking at maybe getting the alpha out at such and such a date, but to have absolutely no clue about what's happening, it's a little bit disconcerting. But things within the gaming industry, there's not much that goes on that surprises me these days. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It does look okay. Will it be a great game when it comes out? I don't know. There's elements within it that look like they're trying to make it look like it's a survival game, but it isn't. You don't have to eat and drink to survive, so I'm not sure if they've got the overall concept of the game nailed down, but yeah, it does look good. You can see from the video that the vistas within it look really good. As I say, there's no textures popping in. The draw distance looks good. Again, character animation isn't great, but early days yet. So, and that's really all I've got for you on this game today. There have been some gun renders that were released onto Facebook, I think just over a week ago. I have done a video before detailing those. I'm not going to bother this time. You can just check those out for yourself if you want to. There was a new Q&A that's quite in-depth, actually. I will try and link that down in the description below. Again, I'm not going to go into it because it's a massive Q&A, but it will give you more of an idea of the things that will be in this game. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got, guys and girls. As always, thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.
Ah! Oh, sorry guys. It's James with PC Gamer here, and what you're seeing now is Wild West Online. It's a new massively multiplayer online game from 612 Games. It's currently in development, so what you're seeing right now is a very early build. And as we recorded this gameplay, there was an issue with the audio we captured, so you're not getting a full soundscape. I'll put in some lovely generic Western music in the background to make up for that. And so this takes place in a huge open world. What you're seeing now is we're harvesting a few herbs that can be used to make certain, elixirs and poultices, and you can use those for certain buffs as you progress. And here you're seeing a homestead. There's a finite amount of property and property deeds you can buy in Wild West Online. And we don't own this property. Right now what you're seeing is we're looting it. This is a very early look at the looting system. I'm told that you're going to see mini games and such to replace these just progress bars in the end. And that'll be a nice touch, I think, and make the basic interactions a bit more interesting and engaging in the end. You see we took a reputation hit. There's a moral system that kind of guides who you're going to play, a bandit or a lawmaker. And depending on who you play, a loss to your reputation or a boost to your reputation will be a good or bad thing. And, as a law-abiding citizen hunting down a player who has a high bounty on their head, who with a very low reputation, that could really benefit your high reputation as a law-abiding officer. The open world is super, super beautiful. I think the first screenshots we saw looked too good to be true, but this world looks really nice. It's a bit empty feeling at the moment. There will be wildlife. There will be, all sorts of activities and other players in the end. But we're looking at, this is not a fully populated server. It's just us right now. This is we stumbled onto an encampment, and you can kind of loot these for gold or random objects, supplies that you can either flip or use to kind of help you on your journey. You'll notice some incomplete assets right here. Biscuits, baby. It's worth noting that this is not a survival game, so you don't need to eat and drink all the time. You do have health and stamina, but you're not going to get hungry as time progresses, and you won't have to find food or you'll die. There's also no crazy permadeath. You won't, when you die, you won't leave your corpse behind, and you won't drop all of everything you own. There are certain objects that you can lose once you're killed, but we'll get to that in a minute. Back on our trusty steed. I'm gonna speed things up here a bit. It's nice to look at, but we don't need to sit through the entire journey. It's a pretty big world. Here we are in a town. In a town, the penalty for killing other players, which you can do, is heightened. So you're not going to want to go buck wild in a town, because it's likely that there's someone else there who will take you out. And it depends who shoot first. So there's some interesting kind of social dynamics. You can fire warning shots, and you won't be penalized for that. But you can kind of goad people into shooting you, or spook them into shooting you, putting a bounty on their head, or at least like giving them a reputation. Affecting their reputation negatively, and tricking them into making bad decisions. Here we're buying some new digs. Gotta look good in the West. Different clothes won't have stat boosts or different kind of effects. They're mainly a sign of who you want to look like, who you want to roleplay as. You're not getting crazy endgame loot here that is going to put spikes on your cowboy hat and make you glow from across the map. This is all here to just, serve role playing. Saloons will ideally be, as I'm told, in kind of like the IRC chat room of the game, where players hang out and will be able to play poker and kind of interact in some unannounced social interactions. You can sit around and get a drink, get drunk, and hang out with your buds if you want, plan your next, move. Here we are drinking some whiskey. You got to do that. It's a Western. We also are going to buy, or have bought, a treasure map from that man sitting at the table there, and we're going to go out and look at our map and find where X marks the spot. So X doesn't exactly mark where the treasure is. Instead, it points you to where you'll need to go to eventually find the treasure. Here we see a rock painted with an arrow that will point us in the right direction. It's not the most like interesting way to find treasure. I'm hoping there's something more along the lines of like Red Dead Redemption's landmark maps where you had to recognize geographical figures. This seems a bit, I don't know, too simple for my taste, but in the end, we could get something a bit more robust. Eventually, we're going to find a treasure chest. And right now, in this build, in this instance, where the server is not populated, it looks like, we get away scot-free. It's simple. The key thing here is that when you're not in a town, the penalty for killing other players is lowered. So right now, in the final version of the game, we could be ambushed by a whole group of bandits, or counter-ambushed by, my own team helping me along the way. Gold is visible if you're carrying it, so you're putting yourself at risk by, seeking high rewards and, venturing out on your lonesome. Here we're in a safe house. There are safe houses strewn about the map, and to get them, to mark them on your map, you'll need to venture out into the world. They act as fast travel points, but you won't have them all unlocked at the get-go. You'll need to explore and venture out further into dangerous territory where more dangerous players and eventually wildlife will be waiting for you. And now we're going to go pan for gold. In an otherwise innocent-looking path, down to a beautiful river in a dense pine forest. Who could expect anything to go wrong? Oh, shit. Here we have some players who don't know how to aim very well, but this is clearly a demo, and the dev here is having a bit of a hard time taking them down. Might be a bug or just an inaccurate weapon. Hard to say. But I like the idea of playing a roadside bandit and, attacking innocent gold miners while they just, try to go pan for gold and make do, pay rent, or, buy even a small land deed. I do worry about, player density and whether anytime you go out into the world and look for treasure or pan for gold or whatever it is, I do worry about, getting shot too often. I'm told that, that's what the beta and alpha are going to be for, is testing what kind of player population they want and, how often they want you to engage with other people in conflict. There's going to be a sweet spot, and they will need a live environment to test that in. They were buying and selling some weapons. That's another kind of mark of prestige and power. How much money you earn is then, reflected in the weapons you have, if that's kind of the path you're going down. There's also, all sorts of resources like bandages and tonics and everything you can see here that affect health and give you certain buffs. Right now, the NPCs in the towns aren't very reactive or interesting. I'm really, really hoping, like, one of my favorite things about Red Dead Redemption, which I think is sort of the de facto Western game at this point, is the strange random NPC interactions. There's like not a lot of character at the moment. Again, this is a very early build, so maybe in the end there will be random NPCs strewn about the world that serve no other purpose than to add color to the world and humanity, but we'll see. Panning for gold is a bit early right now too. Right now we just walk along the riverbed and there's giant gold nuggets just sitting around. That's going to be expanded in the final version. Also, you'll be able to leave kind of like sifters unattended that can be exploited by other people if they find them. I really hope there's just a goddamn pan. I want to be able to use a pan for gold, sit down and sift through the sediment and see what I can find. This is probably the most telling for me part of the demo. Well, coming up here in a bit, the campfire kind of functions as a place to gather. If you gather water like we did just now, you can purify it here. But again, it's not a survival game, so I'm not really quite sure what the benefit is to having a campfire and having these kind of resources if you're not pressed to use them for anything but health or stamina. Are we going to be engaging in conflict that often? I don't know. And here you can see we got a big ass rock in front of us that we can mine for gold. These pickaxes, you need to buy them, and they will they do degrade, so there's durability on them. They're going to be handy for, you know, getting gold. You won't see rocks like this strewn about the world. This is a stand-in at the moment, but maybe you can find some nice veins to tap and be rewarded for that. And I don't think, you know, if they're rare enough, I don't think having a pickaxe destroyed every 2 seconds is going to matter too much. So that's our quick look at Wild West Online. I think it's an outline of a really interesting Western game that we just can't, I mean, this demo can't prove what it's trying to set out to do. We need a live environment. We need to see how the economy works. We need to see how the player population distributes over a map. We need to see what kind of behaviors emerge. Like, are we going to have real interesting, you know, posses form naturally and, you know, tactically plan to ambush and counter ambush one another? It's really hard to say right now. What I can say is that it looks very nice. There are some interesting systems in place. It's still pretty early, so everything's a bit buggy and shoddy, but I'm holding out hope for, in time, for this game to become something special. It certainly could. So that's all we have for today. Thanks for tuning in, and you can read more at PCGamer.com. I have a written preview up there that might fill in some gaps that you didn't get from the video. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See you later.